Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
All right, this is a hardcore grind interview with the fabulous cast of the Godguys. Fabulous stage play coming to Atlanta. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for having us.
So very welcome. So I always like to ask about a gold moment, right? So a gold moment is when thought and execution come together. A lot of times we're really mindful about how other people pour into their lives, how they do things for themselves, how they speak into their own life. But when we deal in our own steps, we kind of have a little lack there. You know, we're kind of a little watered down with our approach to our own lives. So I love to hear about a goal moment when people decided to just kind of let me make this happen. I'm going to start with let's start with Chuck.
Okay. You want to know my goal moment?
I want to know your goal moment when you decided to say, "Boom! I think I'm actually going to do this."
I think that the moment for me was really realizing how much I had to tell, and then the people around me. So Godguys came about because of a group of men who would get together, loved each other, have some pizza, have some conversations, but then were able to talk about a lot of things that we normally don't talk about. And so these particular guys, I said, you know what? I want to do a project with you, some kind of project. The idea for Godguys came about, but we wanted to include the messages in the things that we talked about, and then the ideas of other things that I talked about. And so that was the moment that I knew people needed what we had to share. And so Nay and I, talked about it. We came up with these ideas and said, you know what, we have to do this. And so that's what we're doing. So that was really the goal moment for Godguys. In general, my goal moment was just realizing I have a voice, I have so much to tell, and people need it because people need to be inspired and motivated to do whatever it is that they want to do. And they can do that from hearing, seeing, experiencing the things that I can create.
Absolutely. And Troy?
Well, my goal moment was when I received the script, and I've done theater for a while, and I've done different types of theater. But when I received this particular script for Godguys and reading the verbiage and reading what was going on, I took it kind of personal because I see a lot of myself in the character that I've experienced. And I said, you know what? I mean, just reading the words itself and reading the lines, it brought me to tears. And I said, you know what? I definitely got to say yes to this. And it was my goal moment because it's different than any other theater project I've done because it tells a story and it gets really, really deep because it had affected me in many ways. So that was my goal moment when I had to say, yes, definitely, I'm going with this Godguys.
James?
My go moment, as far as actually doing something within the entertainment business was, it was my son, actually. I, coming from a background of a single parent, my mother did everything I could to make sure that my son never had to think about where his dad was or what his dad was going to do, or if he called his daddy, if he was going to answer. So that was my goal. Everything I did, work-wise, where I lived, where I bought my house, everything was around my son. I was non-custodial. Well, he actually saw something in me, and he actually told me, Dad, I'm old enough now. You can go start doing some things that you want to do in life. And that kind of lit something up under me, and it's been fast forward from there. As far as this play, I actually went to the play. I've worked with Chuck before. I call him Coach Chuck. I worked with him before. I went to the play, and just seeing the play was just so dynamic. I reached out to him and just told him, hey, man, if anything ever happens where y'all need somebody else, please let me know. And here we are.
Oh, awesome. Corey?
Yes, I'm here. My goal moment for me happened probably, it was more stop and go. It was probably about 15 years ago. My mom actually saw something in me, and she knew it's something I always wanted to do as far as being an actor. And so she paid for some training, for some classes. We were really green. Didn't even really know what a professional headshot was, so I went in the backyard. She took a picture of me standing under a pine tree. But things got in the way, and I sort of gave up on the dream. And then I did some background work, was encouraged by some of the cast and people there, and I don't know, it was a God thing. It happened at God's pace. So that's why where I am now, it's just a God thing. I can't say that I made up in my mind I'm going to do this. It's just God made it easy to take the next step. And as far as this production, let me tell you, I've been humbled by it, because when I received it, I was like, yeah, I'm going to kill this. And then after a couple readings, I was like, no, I don't have this. And then with training with Nay, she unlocked something inside of me that just sparked a fire. Really being able to dissect the script, come in tune with a character. And I didn't even know that I was living methodically through this character, but it's done a lot of work inside of Corey that's changed me forever. So I just can't wait for the world to see this production. So it's just been others around me who've encouraged me to get to this point.
Oh, I love it. Christopher?
Hey, thank you. And some great go moments already. Mine, I've got two, one that relates to acting and then one that relates to this play. My go moment was back in 2009. I was living in St. Louis, Missouri, and in the entertainment business, but also toiling in other stuff that wasn't uplifting to the craft and to my life, and was looking for a life change and decided to move to Atlanta to go see what this guy named Tyler Perry had going on down here. And got some stuff together, made some life decisions for the better, and left. My go moment was to come to Atlanta and pursue my acting with a newfound verve, vigor, and commitment. So 2009, moving to Atlanta was a definite go moment. My go moment as it relates to Godguys was the first table read we had. Had the script for a while. I'm Julius. And immediately when I read his monologue, for more or less, where he lays it down about his mental anguish, I felt the character and just poured myself into the script and was so excited to go to Norcross for the first table read, see Troy, Chuck, and meet this famous Nay Stubbs. one more time and get her tutelage. And after that table read, the positive feedback, I knew that I was on the right track, and from there it was full go with Julius. Yeah.
Lissha, this is James. To be honest with you, all of our go moments for this play was the table read that we did, and Chris read his part, and we all were in the room.
Absolutely.
We were all in the room trying to man up. We had just met each other. So all of us was kind of turning to the side and wiping our eyes and opening our eyes. That was the go moment.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You feel me on that one. Yep.
And Daniel, we got one more.
Yeah, so my go moment, as it pertains to this, was actually, I don't know where, just the decision to actually audition. So I had never auditioned for anything, like never done an official audition for anything, because the scene here in Pittsburgh is not, really an official sort of situation. Like, somebody, they're doing something, and you either do it or you don't. So there's no, they know what you're capable of, so they want you or they don't. It's very cliquey, and, everybody just kind of deals with the people that they have. So for me to actually step out and do something where, I wasn't already known, or I wasn't already basically written in, was kind of a go moment for me. And then, of course, getting the confirmation, okay, you got the part, this is who you're going to play, getting into the script. And, yeah, that table read, I don't know, that was almost a stop moment. Once Chris went in, I was like, I don't know if I got it. But, but then I was, I went back home and got to work, and, yeah, kind of the last rehearsal we had, that was even more of a go moment for me, because that rehearsal was powerful, and I could really, you get in your mind of what you think it's going to look like. But these dudes, man, that last rehearsal we had, they showed improved. They showed up to play. Say it however you wanted to say it. I was like, this thing is happening. This is on.
For real.
I love it. Now,
Lissha, there's Kevin Brown. You forgot him.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, Lissha, you are not forgiven, Lissha.
Oh.
No, you are forgiven. You are forgiven. Well, my goal moment, Lissha, I've been performing for quite some time, and my situation was I was working full-time and trying to do theater full-time, and which is very stressful. I met a young lady by the name of Joy Sato, and she always told me that I should pray the prayer of Jabaz, that God would expand my territory. So last year, I retired from work. I'm 68, and I retired at 67 and still praying the prayer of Jabaz. I got a call from the black rep in St. Louis to come down and do Jitney. I went. From Jitney, I ended up in Lincoln, Nebraska doing Death of a Salesman. Mm-hmm. And back in St. Louis doing Death of a Salesman. It was a co-production. Then I went to Milwaukee doing 7 guitars, and just left Cincinnati. We just closed the show on the 14th. So but the goal was to do what I love to do. I didn't want to sit dormant and retire and do nothing. So the prayer worked, and God has been expanding my territory, and now I'm looking forward to working with this fine cast in Atlanta. I've never worked in that marketplace before. I've had the opportunity to work in Africa, South Africa in particular, Europe, during the Fringe Festival in Scotland. So I'm looking forward to working with this cast and speaking Nay's words. It's very well written, but the short of it is that's my goal moment when I decided to retire and do what I love to do. So that was that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Y'all are dope in real life. Listen to this. Now, this play, it circles around men coming together, something, a unity that we kind of don't see in our community. You talk about struggles with mental health. You know, researchers suggest that in the Black adult community, 20% of us are more likely to experience mental health problems such as depressive disorders or generalized anxiety, and we tend not to seek help when we need help. What are some of the things you think should happen in our community to help our Black men be able to kind of get back to the place that they need to be in?
If I could jump in there.
You sure can. Go ahead.
What I was going to say, Lissha, is that I think Black folks have been struggling with wholeness, whether you're female or male, since we've been forced to live in this country, and slavery has never really been dealt with and how it affected us from generation to generation. The whole idea of masculinity versus femininity needs to be redefined as well. Masculinity seems to be extremely fragile. I grew up in a period of time where masculinity, was measured by the size of your dick or how many women you were able to pull or something like that. Coming from a man and a woman, we have to understand that there is both, and come to understand that there's the feminine trait and masculine traits in all of us. And we need to successfully come to some point where we are able to deal with that and accept it, to be whole people. So I think in order for us to really be whole as men, we really need to come to grips with what it means to be a man. You know, we've been conditioned not to speak about our feelings, not to be emotional. Boys don't cry, men don't cry, was a resounding theme growing up in a family of 7 kids. So we really there needs to be a paradigm switch in terms of how we look at ourselves as Black folks, not colonized by the European and their mindset. So until those things are actually put into place, I think we're always going to struggle in those areas.
Say it again for the people in the back. I'm just saying, these are some things that need to be said. Troy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the same way. I mean, first of all, too, it's so much of an identity crisis. Well, especially with the young boys, with young men today, they don't know who they are. They're under a lot of peer pressure, and it's time for the real men to step up, to be role models, to be other fathers to young men that don't have that father figure in their life. So we have a lack of that in the community. We need to be examples. We need to step up. We need to show them love. We need to show them community activities, to be involved in their lives. So that's my thoughts, is that we need to step up as men to be examples and to be forerunners for these young men.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, talk that talk. And Chuck?
Well, I agree that there's so much that we still need to talk about, and we can't have it taboo, which, again, why we created this opportunity, so that men and women can, as we say, come into the kitchen and see what actually takes place, so that we can begin to normalize those conversations that at sometimes are difficult in the Black community, in Black households. But we can touch on those things and make it okay to say, I'm not okay. I need help. I'm going to therapy. I've been to therapy. And so the more we're able to show that and to talk about it and be transparent, the more we'll be able to have that conversation in greater numbers, in more public platforms, so that it's not unusual for a kid to say, hey, I need help. We don't want people to wait until they're 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, still dealing with things that happened to them when they were a child. So we take responsibility while we're giving ourselves permission to feel and heal, we want other people to do the same thing. And so the more we're able to do that, the better it's going to be for not just men, not just women, but for children, everybody.
Absolutely. And Corey?
Yeah. Wow. First and foremost, hats off to everyone who's answered before me, and I absolutely agree with everything that's being said, especially going back to what Kevin was saying, dealing with that trauma that still comes to us to this day from slavery. A lot of those emotional traumas are passed from generation to generation, but we're not able to put a title on it. We're not able to put a name to it because we, as I said previously, we can't identify that it's wrong. So being able to have a renewing of the mind, it has to come down to an absolute truth. I believe that perception is everything. So once we perceive that wrong is good or feeling is bad, those things start to set the pace on how we carry out our lives. And I believe that what happens, the older we get, the more truth we begin to realize, and that's why it takes until we're 40, 50 years old before we're able to see that there was a problem. Most of the things that I believed the most in my life were lies. So being able to, first and foremost, say that, hey, I am hurting. Hey, I'm not feminine because I have emotions, because when we speak of God, one of his names is called the breasted one. And we think of God in a masculine way. But the incarnation of God we found in the person of Jesus Christ, the way that he acted and reacted to things. Jesus wept because he saw the pain and the emotions that his friends were going through. So being able to identify those emotions, realize that some things were just wrong, and being able to forgive our parents, people that may have abused us in their lives because maybe they were abused too, and again, couldn't put a name or a face to it. So I believe that's one of the biggest problems in our community. I don't believe that it's so taboo anymore, as we're just coming to a place of realization that, hey, some things that we thought were acceptable were not.
Now, I want to talk, I want to talk a little bit. I want to get on a soapbox for a minute because I remember. What we got, Dad? Okay, Mr. Tate. Come on.
I got something to say now. I got some things on my mind.
Come on,
as it pertains to this here particular topic.
Let's go.
Yeah, you can't just ask a few of us that question.
Let's go.
We not moving on till we done now.
Let's go. I'm going to talk about. Let's go.
So as far as Tate's 3-step plan, you got to start by coming to see this play. You got to see the play. The reason I say that is because we open the purpose is to open up the conversation. It's to expose some things. So the things that you can't say that you haven't been able to say as a man, let us say it for you. Let your brothers speak for you. The second thing is probably going to be be honest. Now that conversation is open, now that it's out there on the table, accept it. Fess up. Say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Understand that, understand the people that you're having that conversation with, because that conversation is not going to always go over the way you want it to go if you just come out in your emotions and say it. So, yeah, tailor your words, give a grain of sugar to it, make sure that it goes down easy, because this is some hard stuff that we're dealing with. And it's going to take some delicacy. It's going to take some management. It's going to take some understanding of your own situation and the people that you're having that conversation with, in order to make sure that we can take those next steps. The third thing is going, get some help. If these are some things that you're dealing with, or any other things that might possibly be related to these things or not related, that kind of that wound gets triggered or opened up while you're watching the show or after the show in conversation, make sure that you get some help. Preferably, in my circumstance, I like to say get some black help, because Black Help is going to understand you. Black Help is going to understand, what you come from. They're going to be able to see the lens that you see it through, if not the exact same lens, something like it. So, I'll reiterate my steps. Come see the play. Have the conversation, be honest, and call in some professional help.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, wait, we heard a lot of the fellas. Let's hear Nay. Nay, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna say, just from the perspective of even writing, it's I love all the answers. I love what Tate says, but I'm kind of on the flip side of coming to the table to get help and professing your issues and your hurt and your pain. I say bring it however you can, because I think your initial question was, how do we get men, or as Kevin opened it up, just any gender in our culture to be able to say we need help, and we need to seek wellness and wholeness. And I think there have been too many rules placed in how we do it and what it should look like and what it should feel like. And so I say, as a writer, I wanted to put it out there however it could be said, however it could be felt, however it could be heard, because everybody is not going to deliver their pain and, their permissions of healing and all that in the same way, in the same vein. It's not going to be the same color. It's not going to be the same tone. It's not going to always have, like Tate said, the sugar to it, because we've been through some stuff. I mean, Kevin took it back to slavery. We've been through some stuff. And so I encourage them to bring it however it comes, however it feels, whatever it looks like, because that is what is holding, particularly our Black men, back. It doesn't look like the white man's problem. It doesn't look like the female problem. It looks like a letdown. It looks like weakness. It looks like what society says it should not look like, and so I don't want to bring my issue or my issues to anybody, especially someone therapeutic or medical.
Right.
I don't want to do that. And so I say we let down the guards. We say, you say in ministry and in church or what have you, come as you are. Like, that has to be the permission to our Black men. We love you. We need you. We see you. Come, bring it out, bring it to us, because now we're in a position where we're saying we want to help you, but we can't help you as long as you remain hidden. As long as you remain hiding behind that mask of image and perfection and strength and whatever else that, again, the world says that you have to be.
Lissha, I can't stay quiet. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Come on.
They just said exactly what I wanted to say in regards to it does. We want to tell people to seek help with a professional. But at the same time, that's a big step for somebody that's never spoken out about anything. I'm one of those, I like to tell people, this is one thing I love about this play, the space to feel and heal. In other words, you have a space with some people that you love and trust that you can actually talk to. The thing with Black men is we hang. We still hang together. You put a game on, you can put 12 men in a room and a six-pack of beer, and we still going to come out feeling a little better. Not as drunk as we should, but a little better. And we got 11 new friends. But we're not going to get in there and discuss what needs to be discussed. So we're hanging together, but we're still scared to let those words come out because we're scared of being judged. One of the biggest things I think that's missing out of the Black community, you ask, what is it that we can do or that can be done to get us back to where we need to be? We're missing the village. We still have neighborhoods. We don't have villages anymore. There's too many, because of the economy, too many people have to move away. So kids are not growing up and having best friends. Kids don't grow up to where they're in middle school and go through high school with their same friend because their mom or dad might get a different job. They're in an apartment, so they can just move someplace else. So there's no village anymore. And I think the villages still have to be created. I think one of the problems with our culture is that if we don't know you, we're going to wait.
Hello.
I'm in a community now to where I'm getting to know the kids in my community. But a lot of people would be in this community and do not know these. My neighbor doesn't know half of the people that's in the community, and he's been here 5 years. We won't open up to each other long enough to actually get to know each other. We have to do that. Once you do that, then you're able to open up more and speak freely, especially us as men. And I'm speaking as the black community as all. Of course, I'm a man, so I can't really speak about how you women do it, but I do know that all of us have went through this struggle in regards to our blackness. And the thing is, we're still going through this struggle. And the only people that can actually help us is us. So as people are listening to this, understand, brothers, sometimes you have to see yourself in somebody else to have self-awareness of, wow, that's me. So come on to the play. And I guarantee you that you're going to see something. If it's not you, it's going to be somebody that you know, and hopefully you can, open up a conversation that way.
Now, in 1970, right? Well, I didn't see it in 1970, but that's when John Barry produced Claudine. And I don't know if you guys have seen that, but Claudine was something for me. I saw it in the 80s. And it kind of gave me a reflection of what our community looks like. I know that we've talked about slavery. We talked about this today at work, how black men were always put in a position to not be protectors when they were protectors. They were always been told that you are not enough and you're not needed. So Claudine kind of broke down the breakdown and the break up systematically of the black family by telling women, men are not necessary. If you want me to help you, you can't have him. What can we do as a community to bring back our strong families? Because I think that's really what we're missing. We have a lot of single mothers. We even have some single fathers. We have a lot of singleness going on. We don't have a lot of unity going on. What can we do to unify and build our families back up? And I want to start with Nate. Who is that? Okay. Mr. Martin, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Chris. Yeah, that's a subject that rubs me the wrong way when you ask about what to do. And for me, my situation had two parents in my family, you know what I mean, very fortunate to have a father figure, a strong one, and my mom, and see them work as a team. And a lot of that, and James touched on it, also the village, is just adults adulting and, some discipline. You know what I mean? You know how to not have kids out of wedlock. You know what I mean? You know how to date a woman and put a ring on her finger to make it legal. And those kind of values, morals, scruples, ethics, you know what I mean, have been eroded in the black community. And it's not weak. It's not soft to want to marry your girlfriend and have a life and not, be outside the law, sell drugs, do whatever you may think is cool, hip, and what society or that part of society deems as being a man. You know what I mean? The picture of a man and what it means to be a man needs to be more positive, whether that's role models, reinforcements, talking in schools, churches, boys camp, whatever. But this attitude that, I don't know how to be an adult, or I don't know how to have a family, or da-da-da. No, that's the choice you're making, and I don't let young men that I mentor slide that off. Like, no, man, you know how to do all of that. So that's the main thing. It's just people who are, you know what I mean, and I'll wrap up, people who are, married, even if you've been divorced and you have a kid, or you know what I mean, you and the woman aren't together, if you know how to be there, pay your child support, pick them up, all of that needs to be embedded too. Like, no, if it doesn't work out, no, you aren't to be irresponsible. No, you ain't not going to pay child support. You're going to do it like this, get along with her, and make it better for the kids. I could go on and on about that. I'm sorry, y'all, but yeah. I'm good on it.
You had me at adulting.
Adulting, right.
That's the one right there.
So much.
Yeah.
There's so much within that word alone, man.
So what are your thoughts, Mr. James?
One thing I'll say is that the narrative is yes, there are a lot of single mothers out there. And I'm one of those that's really, the single mother thing hits me deep because I grew up in a single mother household. But I will say that the narrative it's kind of been misconstrued because.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Black men are one of the most responsible fathers statistically in the nation. But what they would rather put out there is that there's single mothers, but they don't want to talk about actually that some of the fathers are still there. Now, don't get me wrong, that comes from, because she's a single mother, that means you made the wrong decision with a certain person. But in regards to getting our families back, I think people have to stop running to the narrative of, this woman, because this woman wants a job, because this woman wants to be better, because this woman probably is better and making more money than you, that you still can't be man enough to step to her, or that she doesn't need you. See, the thing is, the narrative is out there now that women, because of the 80s, this is way before maybe your time, but the 80s was supposedly the decade of the ladies. Women's live equality and all this type of stuff. And right now, I love it. Women are winning. Women have it. They're doing their thing. But the narrative is out there that because women are doing their thing, they don't need a man. And I think we as black men have to stop buying into that narrative and stop thinking that, because most men are going in thinking that. And as soon as that woman puts her defense up, which usually black women in today's world have to have their defense up in the dating world, because you never know what you need. So your defense has to be up. But I mean, men have to come and be for real and show their manhood. But right now, our men are stepping back so quickly because that woman will put her defense up to make sure that you're not just play, and men are stepping away because they feel, oh, she one of the women that don't need a man. No, she's a woman that's protecting what she got. And if you actually be a man, she can share what she has with you, and the team that you guys can make would be so crazy. But the problem is right now, so many of these young cats are, I want to say young cats. I hate doing that, blaming some of the younger people, because some of the younger people are the way they are because of our generation, to be honest with you. We stopped reaching back and helping. We looked at a child. I just heard Chris say mentoring. Some people think mentoring is, hey, I was going to help this kid, but he said no, so I went on to help the next one. No, mentoring is making sure that kid, you give that kid every opportunity to hear what you have to say, so that then you can mentor them. But right now, a lot of us, we'll look at a kid and just say he's a lost cause without even trying. And, a lot of the men today they're buying into the narrative that women don't need men. Don't get me wrong, there's some women out there that do believe that, but there's a narrative out there that keeps that from happening. So then when it doesn't happen, you don't have a family now. You can't have a family, if men believe that women don't need them. Now, back in the day, I know what you were talking about in regards to Claudine. What happened out of that was the projects was born. What the government did, they came in and said, listen, if you push that man out, we're going to give you food stamps, we're going to give you some assistance, we're going to help you with your light bill, and you can stay in here for $27 a month. And that's where the projects came from. And a man could not stay with a woman, and she'd be able to get those benefits. So that's where that started at, with that in the 60s and the 70s. I was a product of that. That's where that came from. And it kind of, once women did start making money, as we're talking about slavery and things of that nature, we haven't addressed those issues that's deeply seated within our conscience to where we can actually look at it and say, that was a trick. I actually do need him, or him to say, I can actually help her be better than what she is right now, and she can actually help me. So I feel that that's where that lies at is, as we talked about slavery messing with us in regards to as far as deep-seated things that we haven't addressed, that's where I think that comes from. But until we get out of reading the narrative and believing in the narrative, the family part of us is going to be hard to stay strong.
I agree. And even with the start of the projects, that was still, I think, a breaking point for the family, because it was the government saying, let me do for you what he cannot.
Exactly.
Don't get it twisted. They still doing it. I've been in New York.
But I'm saying they change up the way they say it, but they're still saying it. That women need to be we need to be the breadwinners. We need to do this. We need to do that, because there's no guarantee what you're going to get from your men. And I think that that brings a insecurity, I think, inside of a man. I'm just assuming, I'm a woman, but that would make me insecure if so many different things, people and places were telling me that I just wasn't enough. I'm not enough to take care of my family. I'm not enough to support my family. I'm not enough to get this job. I'm not enough to keep this job. I don't need a career, but I need a job, and I can't keep a job steady. I just feel that, society has really, really took time, because they know that we are stronger together. And if you take away the black man, even though you have the black woman, you take away our superpower.
I wouldn't say that, because I think that the black woman is the strongest creature that's ever been created by God. So I think that superpower is with that black woman, but I just think that, and part of her superpower is actually to make that black man even better.
One of the things, I'm sorry, let me say this real quick and then you can jump in. One of the things, Lissha, that we were really adamant about including in the production, and one of the things that we got the most responses about came from women. So I know we're talking about society and other things, but a lot of that came from women, and they said, I had no idea these things were going on among men. We had women that said, now I know how to talk to my husband. We had people that said, this makes it easier to have a conversation about these things. And so a lot of times it's creating an environment where those conversations can be had and you can continue to build instead of tear down. But if we don't know what the issues are, We don't know how to address them. We don't have an opportunity to make it a plain conversation and it not being an attack from within, starting first. Then we can deal with everything else. But that's why we wanted to say, okay, here we are. Here are some things that go on. Here are some things that we can let you know to go on so that, again, like it was said earlier, some people will see themselves, some people will see other people that they know, and now you can have a conversation about it. And I think that's what's most important in what we're trying to drive home with the play and the production itself.
What do you think, Mr. Tate?
So I think that from my perspective, based on, my relationship with my son's mother and the relationships that I see, we'll even say between my brother and his children, right? It comes down to, for me, I can make excuses or I can make something happen. I was not raised in a household with my father around. So I understand, that my mother could be there to provide everything that I needed, for my physical body to survive. My mother could be there to provide a certain level of emotional support. My mother could be there to educate me to the best of her ability. What my mother could not do was teach me how to be a man. And unfortunately, I had to learn how to be a man, on my own through trial and error. And unfortunately, people got hurt in the way. As I said, I got a son's mother. I don't call her my baby mama because that situation ain't that situation. When I grew up and stopped playing with that woman's emotions, things got better. A week or two ago, she sat down in my living room with my son and my wife, and we all had a conversation. We had coffee and cupcakes because that's what my family looks like now. We can't be in a place where we're playing games. We as men, we can't play games because the games that we play affect other people's lives, whether it be that woman, whether it be that child. And if these children are raised without that father figure, they are not wired to be able to manage male and female relationships in their lives. Statistically, children that are raised in households without the father, whether it be single-parent households single mother households, two-parent households, or just the father single-parent households, statistically, children fare better where the father is present. Statistically, whether it be a single father or two-parent household, statistically, children fare better where the father is present. And that's something that we need to realize, the power of a father actually being there in the household. And that's not to negate, single mothers or to talk down on single mothers. I think I'm an all right dude, and I was raised by one. But I understand that without my presence, my children are at risk. And without, even my influence in my son's mother's life, she's at risk. And if she's at risk, guess what? My child is at risk. So it's really about us stepping up, taking responsibility, and making things happen for the sake of our current generation and the generations to come. For me.
That's what I'm talking about. Adulting.
But that's right, though. I mean, I think a lot of times we get so caught up in ourselves in a relationship that we fail to realize that it's beyond us. And you got to adult in order to get some things done. And until we learn how to do that, it's going to be very hard for us to have union that we need to have, because this is the thing. You don't have to be with a person to be effective parents. Y'all just got to know how to work together.
That's facts.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Without ego.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because ego will put you in the trick bag every time. Every time. And I think that, especially us as women, I don't get offended when men say that you're needed or we would make our generations better. I don't get offended, because you have to be able to encourage men. Men have to encourage other men. And if they are always so inclined to step light because they don't want women to feel away, if you're a woman, you shouldn't feel away. You want him to be encouraged. You want him to be able to have that pride and stick his chest out to say, I make this better. Because we're going to say it all day.
Yeah. Right.
Now, as Father's Day is approaching really fast, what is one of your fondest memories of your father or a male figure in your life? We'll start with Troy.
Wow. Good question. Good question. Well, I grew up in a single-parent home. My father left when I was 9. However, I appreciate the male figures that came to be a father-like figure to me.
Mm-hmm.
And one particular one, I should say, and I hold it dearest, is Jeffrey Dickerson, who played in the very first version of Godguys. He was my godfather. And my fondest memory of him, he had passed in November, but he and I were very close. And one thing I do remember is me and another godson, Tobias, we took him out on Father's Day to go out to the movies. This man had such a great time. The smile on his face, I mean, it was just lit up, and just to have that time, because he gave me, particularly me, sound advice, and I needed to pay back to him and say, listen, we need to just hang out and take him to go see Shaft. That's what it was. It was Shaft when it came out, and it was just a joy, and I just loved being with him then. And I'll never forget that. I'll never, ever forget that. So that's just one, but that's one thing I'll never forget. So we need to applaud the ones that stepped in. I'm not ashamed to say it, but, I really wanted my dad to be there, but because of circumstances between him and my mom, it didn't work out. I had to grow up without having my physical father in my life. But I appreciate that man Jeffrey Dickerson as Pops to step in years later and still was like that father figure to me.
Corey?
Yeah, I'm going to shout out my Uncle Kevin. I hate to sound redundant, but it seems like we all have most of the same story of growing up in a single-parent household. And not only my Uncle Kevin, but my older brother Damien. He's 6 years older than me, but to this day I still have my wife will say when I get around my brother, I act weird because I have so much respect for him. I guess it would almost be as being in the presence of your father. My brother, I was something terrible, and so Mama stayed with the switch, and I think I had got so many whoopings, and my brother just stood and he stood and my mom and like whoop me, and and that's always been his protective attitude toward his baby bro for all these years. And 6 years is not much now that we're adults, but the amount of respect that I have for this man, I could only imagine what a kid would have toward his father. So that would be my brother all my life, every day.
All right, Mr. Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to break the mold a little bit. I was raised in a two-parent home. My father was married twice. He had 2 kids by his first wife, 7 with my mother, and he worked 2 jobs for 14 years to provide for all 9 of his kids. And we never saw him, but we never went out. He always provided. I mean, we started out in the projects on Whiteside Road in Pittsburgh, and then he bought a corner lot and built a house. We went out, we cut down the trees. He's from LaGrange, Georgia. That's where he was born. His mother was murdered when he was in the 6th grade, and he didn't have a father. But he found a way to demonstrate and illustrate what it meant to be a strong black man by being a great provider. I never heard him until he passed when he was 90 years old. And probably in his last 3 years, he told me he loved me. That was a word that he never used, saying that I love you. But he was a great provider. He was great with his hands. He and some of his buddies could do woodwork. They could lay down cement. They worked on roofs, skills that, I wish I had to this day, because I'm always hiring somebody to do that kind of thing. But he was a good dude. I mean, he was flawed like most of us. He wasn't perfect, but I had some great memories with my father. He taught me a really valuable lesson when I got to high school, and he allowed me, he and my mom, to go out and buy clothes for school. And he told me to go out, here's the money, you go and get what you need. And I was waiting for my best friend, whose name was Milton, and we were going to go together. But Milton's parents did not give him the money for him to go buy clothes. So my dad came home. He's like, okay, what you buy? And I'm like, I didn't go because Milton didn't have any money, so I couldn't go. You don't wait for nobody. If you got something to do, you do it. You be responsible. So what he did is he took me to buy clothes, and he would not allow me to pick out what I wanted. He selected it. And so that was a very valuable lesson. I didn't want him to select my clothes because he bought some crappy stuff that I didn't even want to wear. But had I taken the initiative and gone out and bought my clothes, I would have been a happier camper. But that was a very valuable lesson that I learned. You don't wait. If you got something to do, you do it. And but he was a good dude, and I appreciate him even more. And I'm morphing into him, actually. The more I look at myself in the mirror, I see him every day. And but he was a good guy. He was a good guy.
All right. And Mr. Martin?
Yeah, I knew it was coming around to me. And as most of the cast knows, my father passed away about 6 weeks ago.
Oh, so sorry to hear about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you guys didn't, but yeah, the rest of the cast knew. So it's different. With this Father's Day coming, be the first one, to recognize and celebrate without him being here, a heavenly, Father's Day. And his birthday is May 30th, so his birthday is coming right around the corner. He died right before his birthday. And I got tremendous, great memories. Shout out to Chuck and Troy Bland, who came to my dad's funeral. And valuable, meant the world to me. So a lot of great memories, and as fate would have it, the last day of the play will be on Father's Day, that Sunday. So Gotta carry everything gotta carry everything I got into these two performances, and it's gonna, uplift my dad and make him proud up there, and I'll finish with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Much love to you, bro.
We got you.
Yeah, we got you, man.
I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Mr. James?
As most of the play, most of the cast, I grew up, like I said earlier, single, without a father, and poured everything into being, even though I was non-custodial. And, as Mr. Tate said, it's not my baby mother, it's my son's mother, but it was something that was not planned, never in a relationship or anything, so I really had to pour a lot into being there for my child. One of the things I've always told my son was, because I don't live here with you, I have to know that I can trust what you're saying. You have to trust me, and I have to trust you. If I ask you a question, I don't care, especially if I ask you the question twice, that means I already know the answer. So, son, go ahead and fess up. I need you to do that. But I kind of felt wrong for doing that to him because he knew about my struggles with my own father. I had a 34-year absence of not seeing my pops. And then after counseling, I decided to go see him to fight certain demons. So for Father's Day, I decided to take after I had actually went and fought my demons and seen my pops, and then I went to see him again another year. The third year after our relationship had rekindled, I decided to take my son to New York for Father's Day so that he could see his father with his father, so that what he knew about the struggle that I had with him, with my father, would make him value what he has with me right now. And I have pictures of it, me and my pops and my son sitting at the table at a diner in Linden, on Linden Boulevard, down the street from the roughest projects in East New York. But that's one of my fondest memories right now, Father's Day. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think nothing could top that. I actually had to take a step back while I was sitting there while they were speaking, and I was like, wow, my father's actually talking to my son, and I never thought that would happen. I think this coming up Father's Day is going to create some memories. It's going to be close to it. It can't overtake. But I have some people that's actually coming to this play on Father's Day that I think is going to make it even more special for me. But that right there is no gift, no nothing like that could ever take the place of that. Matter of fact, I can't even think of. Seriously, I can't think of a gift that I got on Father's Day. To be honest with you, we don't never get the best gifts. So we get time to do what we want to do.
You get the big piece of chicken.
Yeah, right. And time to do what we want to do. You can look at the game by yourself today, baby.
Yeah,
that's just what we get. But yeah, that's my biggest memory: taking my son to see my father on Father's Day.
And you know what? It's funny you said that because I actually had to apologize to my dad because I'm like, dang, because it's like when you sing Mother's Day, you think about all these great extravagant things to get your mom and things you can.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But when you think about your dad, it's like basic stuff. A gift card to Home Depot, some lunch.
Socks.
I'm like socks, T-shirts, essential stuff. We all never.
A gift card to Applebee's.
Right, I have to say, Dad. Dad, I'm sorry.
Father's Day is ranked number 20 in holidays.
Wow.
Number 20.
Wow.
You got Mother's Day and Christmas. Father's Day is number 20. You know what's before Father's Day? Arbor Day. Somebody tell me what Arbor Day is. Somebody on this call tell me what Arbor Day is.
Plant trees.
Yeah. I just found that out in the year 2021 that Arbor Day has something to do with trees. Trees go before kids.
Man, they make all that fall in some type of way, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
That's why we got to have. That's why we got to have Godguys, bro, so we can make sure we celebrate.
Exactly. Whoa.
I love it. I love it. This is a prime example of iron sharpens iron. I appreciate all of you coming to share your time, your space, and your energy with me. I want each of you to shout out your social media for those that can get caught up with you, and let us know any websites and upcoming events outside of Goddads that you guys might want to shout out as well. I mean, Godguys.
We gave you time.
We got a Goddad. Yeah, we gave you a little space there. But look, for editing purposes.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Well, I can be found on all social media at C Nathaniel Brown. That's CNATHANIEL. Tickets for Godguys can be purchased right now on Eventbrite, and that's Godguys ATL Run 2 Eventbrite.com. That's Godguys ATL Run 2 Eventbrite.com, and then of course my business website is ex3ent.com.
Nay?
I can be found on my website at Unique, that's UNIQU-NMP.org, as well as on Facebook under Nay Lewis Stubbs, and Instagram under Crenative, CRENATIVE Art.
Troy?
Okay, it's Troy Bland, and you can find me on Facebook under the name Troy Bland, BLAND, last name, and my Instagram page also under it's T Brand. That's TBRAND 2021. And I want to say, Lissha, thank you for accepting my friend request on Facebook as well.
No problem at all. And Corey?
Yo. You can find me on Facebook and IG. I'm really not on Twitter that much. You can find me on IG _ KORIPOE. That's _ Corey Poe. And Facebook under the name Corey Poe, KORIPOE. And as of now, the play is all I'm anticipating on. Just can't wait to get together with these guys and just show the world what we've all put together.
Mr. Kevin?
Yeah, Facebook, it's just Kevin Brown. And on IG, it's Kevin Brown 17.
Mr. Christopher?
Hey, Christopher Martin, the fashion plate. You know what I'm saying? Just glad to be here, you dig? You can find me on the gram, clowning, shenanigans, tomfoolery, and whatnot at C Martin, ATLP. That would be the letter C, MARTIN, ATLP, as in player from the Himalayas. And it's all God. Hey, wait a minute, I'm going to finish with this. Godguys. June 17th and 18th, we're standing on a 10-toe strong. Come get you some mental health and see a great play.
Wow.
And Mr. James.
Oh, my God, I was hoping you let me go before him. How am I going to follow that?
Nobody likes to go after Chris. Nobody.
Let me see if I can do it. Hey, what's happening? You can find me on Facebook. This is James Thompson. You can find me on Facebook as James Thompson, Jaetea, if you want to be perfect. Because, you know, there's a lot of James Thompsons in the world. Hey, man, I'm tired already. So, I'm serious. You can find me on Facebook as James Thompson, but there's a lot of us out there, so put in Jaetea, and you'll see me pop up with some great stuff on my face. You can find me on IG at classic_J. Classic is with a K, _JAE. And if I can also throw this here, have a little self-promotion, I do a podcast called Classic Conversations. Classic is with a K. Conversations with a K. You can also follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and also on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
All right, and Mr. Tate.
All right, so you can find me on the UniQ site that named earlier. Okay. I also have a T-shirt plan to expand to fashion, but it's T-shirts right now, a T-shirt line. It is Inked Affirmations. That is INKEDAFRO, like the hairdo, Mations, MATHION, .etsy.com. Be sure to go purchase and support my family. Pay some of these bills, please. You can find me on Instagram. That is Daniel_, that's the little line at the bottom, LM_, again, the little line at the bottom, Tate, Tate, that is Tango Alpha, Tango Echo for you military types. You can also find me on Facebook, Daniel LM, Lima Mike Tate. Yeah, so that's how you get me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you guys coming to share your time, your space, and your energy. I will see you guys all on the 18th. I'm excited. Thank you for everything that you're doing and pouring into us. And I'm excited. I'll see you guys then.
You got it.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Lissha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.